One thing million-dollar broadcast studios and smaller podcasts have in common is the word ATEM. Blackmagic has done an incredible job of creating an incredibly wide range of multicam switchers for all kinds of applications, ranging from consumer grade to top of the line. Though there are competitors for almost every model, none of them really have the upward mobility that the ATEM ecosystem seems to offer. And today, we're going to talk about our specific experiences with two different ATEMs, and whether or not they might be right for your use case. For those who don't know, we're BrainStem.Studios, a podcasting and production studio in San Diego's North County. We produce multiple podcasts in-house every week and work with varying external clients on creative projects. And we love sharing our production knowledge on this channel. Anyways, for those new to it, Blackmagic's ATEM line offers a variety of switchers. You typically would see these in the video village of an event or in a broadcast studio, but we're starting to see them in podcast videos and other pre-recorded video applications. So let's talk about why. The general idea of ATEMs is about the same, regardless of model or size. You have a box with some buttons and a number of inputs and outputs. The ATEM's job is to take some number of inputs and create one dynamic output that goes either to a hard drive, a broadcast, or the internet. We'll do another video diving into the effects offered, such as live green screen keying or super view, but we'll save the specifics for another video. This might make you ask, if they're all the same, why not just buy the cheapest one? And the answer is essentially that you get what you pay for when it comes to features. If you spend more on an ISO model, you'll record all of your inputs along with your output. And if you spend even more, you can gain more resolution, or inputs and effects like super view that allows you to stitch multiple cameras and graphics together for more dynamic images. You can even go further to unlock 4K or even 8K functionality if your pockets are deep enough, though these higher resolution switchers don't currently offer ISO recording. Since each system uses the same software, it's easy to climb the ladder as your needs change without reinventing the wheel of your production workflow. Speaking of production workflows, this is where the ATEMs have some quirks and features. We're working on a dedicated video jumping into our exact recording and editing workflows, but especially depending on your audio process, just know there may be some post-production headaches that should be solvable with a bit of testing and tinkering, but they do still exist. Now, the part that most people probably care about. If you're recording content and not broadcasting it live, why would you need this? Or how can you work around needing this to save money? And the answer to that is complicated. This isn't an objective statement by any means, but in my own personal opinion, you probably don't need an ATEM unless you have someone operating the switcher and software while you're recording, or unless you're creating extremely fast-paced multicam content and time is of the essence. The biggest benefit we found of the ATEM workflow, especially for podcasting, is the flexibility of offering live cuts that suffice 90% of the time, while maintaining the ability to make changes after the fact. This provides cost-effective options for our budget-minded clients, and full flexibility for anyone wanting the best of the best. In our upcoming video about our workflow, we'll talk about how we bring our live cuts into Premiere to color grade and edit them, and we'll even talk about how it could come in handy without a producer in certain fast-paced environments. The short version of that is that the ATEM's workflow can be extremely helpful by recording synchronized feeds that are pre-packaged and ready to edit, and the time savings that offers can vary widely depending on your relationship with time, money, and how many inputs you're working with. For those who don't really need an ATEM, but still want multicam recording or live streaming, there are a few options. There's multiple pieces of streaming software, such as OBS, that will require capture cards or webcams to plug into your computer and use some CPU, but they offer additional functionality that can be especially useful in live streams or complex motion graphics. In fact, some people even bring their ATEM feeds into OBS for motion graphics. But if you're pre-recording something you intend to edit, your editing software is almost guaranteed to have an audio synchronizer that can get each camera angle on track, meaning that if all you want is multiple camera angles and you're not switching in real time, there may be more cost-effective solutions. Essentially, unless you're creating large amounts of content on a regular basis and live streaming your production, you might not need one of these. If you want to add another camera angle to your content, try doing that without an ATEM before you spend money on something you don't need, especially if you're on a tight budget. However, if you're working with a producer or an engineer, or if you're creating a high volume of content in a short amount of time, or you might just have a specific use case, it may be worth giving one of these a shot. I will say, if you're going to do any editing, that I highly recommend purchasing an ISO version of the ATEM if at all possible, such as the Mini Pro ISO or the Mini Pro Extreme ISO. Great names, I know. Overall, we love using the workflow we've built for ATEM podcasting, and are super excited to dive deeper into it in future videos about both our editing workflow and our recording workflow and our physical production layout that actually uses two ATEMs in tandem. If you've worked with something in the ATEM line before, let us know what your experience was like in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.